Rise of anti-Semitism across the globe. Let's bring in Managing Director for the Coalition for Jewish Values, Rabbi Yaakov Menken. Also with us, he is the CEO of Henry Public Relations, former Executive Director, Iranian Americans for Liberty, and a Newsmax contributor, Brian Lieb. Gentlemen, great to be with you both. This terror attack in Australia is really just the latest example of terror and anti-Semitism across the globe. It's a tragic start to Hanukkah. And Rabbi Menken, I'm wondering, how will the Jewish community come together after this horrific assault?
You know, we always persevere. It's just who we are. You go forward. But you have to recognize what is going on here. A very well-funded, Muslim Brotherhood-supported terror campaign globally targeting Jews and Jewish communities. This is not about Israel. And here's one of the most interesting things. Australia joined France, England, and Canada just a few months ago in recognizing a Palestinian state with neither borders nor a commitment to peace and security with Israel. Even Hamas understood that that was giving a reward to terrorism after October 7th, 2023. And our organization warned at the time that this was giving a reward to terrorism and would only lead to more. Well, what we just saw, I honestly believe that Prime Minister Albanese of Australia has blood on his hands right now, and the governments of his country, England, France, Canada, need to pull back from that level of insanity, recognizing a Palestinian state that exists for hate alone, much less what's going on college campuses across America and around the world.
Yeah, and meantime, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, he is slamming the Australian government as well. In light of this attack, he says that Australia's government let this anti-Semitism into the country really bubble up to the surface. Listen to this.
Your government did nothing to stop the spread of anti-Semitism in Australia. You did nothing to curb the cancer cells that were growing inside your country. You took no action. You let the disease spread. And the result is the horrific attacks on Jews we saw today.
And Brian, your reaction?
Well, listen, when we heard all of the terrorist sympathizers and radical Islamists from around the world calling for globalizing the Intifada on the streets of America, Europe, Africa, all around the world, the end result, sadly, is what we just saw happen in Australia with 15 Jews that are dead, that were murdered for one reason and one reason only. They were Jews. That was the only reason that they were murdered. And they were murdered because, like Prime Minister Netanyahu said, there really is just a cancer of anti-Semitism that's spreading around the world right now. It continues to get out of control. You know, I'm 40 years old, and I remember for the last 30 years now, when I first started going to synagogue, you know, that this hatred was there 30 years ago, and it just keeps getting worse and worse. And I really think that we have to do something radical as a nation right now. I would love to see President Trump really marshal in the full resources of the federal government to track down every single radical Islamist that we have in our country right now, because they really are what is putting the Jewish community in danger right now. So I would love for President Trump potentially to declare a national emergency on anti-Semitism and bigotry against any religious faith. It is really out of control right now. Something radical has to be done, or it's just going to keep happening over and over again.
Yeah, absolutely. It's very scary stuff. Brian Lieb, Rabbi Menken, great to be with you both today. Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.